Good evening, everybody. Keith here. Wanted to go over with you a couple things here. Kind of help explain what's going on here and give you a little clue as to what's happened in the past and how it's working today. And I want to show you a couple things here out of some books I found. And first, we're going to start out with a book called The Blue Jackets Manual. The Blue Jackets Manual of 1940. And this is a military manual, if you know what Blue Jackets are. It's maritime. And it says on one of the first pages, or the first page after it denotes the contents, we've got a colored page of flags. And it says Plate 1, Flags of Principal Maritime Nations. Now, one of the things I want to point out here is, again, like I said, this is from 1940, and there's only 2 pages of flags here, with a total of 8 flags, one for man of war and one for merchant. So that's a total of 16 flags. And the first one I'm going to show you here is, of course, the American flag. And as we can see, the one is the merchant flag, the man of war flag. This is the man of war flag. This one here is the merchant flag. Now look at those. Those are identical. They're the same damn flag. Now when we look at the rest of the flags, you'll see the second one, the third one, and the fourth one there. They're all distinctly different. Very distinctly different. And we'll see that again on the rest of the 4 flags. Like I said, there's only a total of 8 flags here. One for the man of war and one for merchant, for a total of 16 flags. Now that tells us back in 1940 there was only 8 countries involved in the maritime nations. Today we have almost every nation in the world as a maritime nation. And again, like I said, the man of war flag for America is the exact same as the merchant flag. Today there's a difference, and that is noted by the gold fringe around it. But I want you to notice that maritime and or the man of war flag and the merchant flag are both identical, and the only difference today is that there's a gold border around, and that means they've boxed it in. Okay, so that's the first issue. I want you guys to think about that. That's how fast this maritime stuff has happened. You know, in 1940 there was only 8 countries, and today there's almost every country in the world is maritime. The second one is the Army Songbook. The Army Songbook. And in this Army Songbook, the very front cover, or the inside cover, I'm going to read to you. It says, compiled by the Adjutant General's Office in collaboration with the Library of Congress, and published by order of the Secretary of War. This book is the property of the United States government, and its contents may be used only within the military services. Okay? This book is the property of the United States government, and its contents may be used only within the military services. Guess what? First song, The Star-Spangled Banner. Now, for you folks that go to all these sporting events, is that a military venue? Think about that. I want you to think about that. Is a sporting event a military venue? We don't often think about it. But what I want people to understand is that we are, in fact, and it can be verified, that we are under martial law. Okay? We've been under martial law for centuries. And the way it happens is the hospital. 99.99% of the population is born in a hospital. And guess what, people? The hospital is a military venue. Did you catch that? Do you believe me? Well, let me give you a little history on how a hospital came about. See, there was a day when we had doctors that went door to door. And it didn't come about because a bunch of doctors got together and decided it would be convenient to do business together in the same building. It came about because of war. War was the only reason that there was a need for a, quote, hospital. Okay? And that was because on the war fields, they had the soldiers, both their own soldiers and enemy soldiers that needed medical assistance in order to be able to survive their injuries. And so they set up these hospitals. And if you've ever watched the show MASH, that's exactly what it is. That's where the hospitals came. They didn't have doctors out on the war fields that decided it was convenient to do everything together. It was a necessity. It was a necessity of war. Okay? And because of that necessity of war, they turned around and made that a commercial venue. It's still a military venue, but they commercialized it. So understand this stuff, people. Another thing I want to mention again, that's one of the reasons for the birth certificate and the Social Security account. Let me explain the birth certificate and the Social Security account real quick, in that the birth certificate is part of the Public Charitable Trust. It is a trust developed through the county, the state, and the federal government. That's the trust of the birth certificate. Okay? It has no actual involvement with the living man. It's a commercial trust between three commercial entities: the county where you were born, the state that has the Vital Statistics Bureau, and then the federal government that has the actual obligation to the bond. So what happens is, when you're born, the hospital drafts up this statement of live birth. And it is a hospital statement of live birth. And they go ahead and take that to the county registrar, who verifies it as true and correct information and puts a commercial stamp on it, which says certified. Certified means it's now a financial instrument. It is no longer just a informational document. It is now a financial instrument. Now that financial instrument is deposited into a general account. That general account is the Public Charitable Trust. Okay? Now, the Public Charitable Trust, like I said, is the birth certificate, and the hospital statement of live birth is the county's certificate. That's where it's originally certified. And then they send off a birth certificate to the federal government, to the U.S. Department of State, and they send off another certificate to the state Vital Statistics Bureau, which is the certificate of live birth. Okay? And that is your financial instrument setup. Now, the Social Security account is a foreign situs trust developed under the certificate of live birth to protect the Public Charitable Trust. And that is the entity that all of the commercial transactions go through in regards to any kind of financial instruments, any kind of bank accounts, your driver's license, your school registration, things like that. And what happens is, anytime you do a commercial transaction that uses that Social Security account, which is your school registration, they want your Social Security account. Your bank accounts, they want your Social Security account. A loan document, they want your Social Security account. All that stuff, they want your Social Security account so that they can access that public charitable trust. And that is an obligation of the United States. Now, when you get a Social Security account, they classify you as a Medicare qualified government employee. Now understand that. You were born in a military venue and given a Medicare qualified government employee classification because of that. This is easy information to figure out and understand. All of the rest of it, the U.S. codes, the state statutes, all of that is just bullshit. And what we have to start doing is rebutting these things from the beginning. So I highly recommend anybody out there that wants to have a companion for life, quit signing your name to these documents called marriage licenses, marriage certificates. A license and a certificate are financial instruments. They're implied contracts. And though it's not an actual contract, they're making financial instruments out of them. And that's fraud. Okay? Realize this stuff, people. Anyway, I hope this short video helps you understand a couple things. The world has changed a lot in the last couple hundred years, and we need to change it a lot more back to natural law and what's actually right. So remember this stuff and realize that when you're going to these sporting events and they're singing the Star-Spangled Banner, they're praising you as military people. They're trying to draft you into the military. That Star-Spangled Banner is bullshit. The military venue of the hospital is bullshit. The birth registration is bullshit. The Social Security account is bullshit. Your licenses are bullshit. It's all bullshit. And the most important thing you can study right now, if you want to get out of this stuff, is start studying your private law. Private law is your international labor union laws. If you ever wonder why Jimmy Hoffa died or was killed, murdered, disappeared, whatever, that's why. He was on the track. He knew what was up. And that all pertains to private property. What's proper to you in your private capacity. So if you want to do anything with a DBA of any sort, I suggest you do a private membership association. Pure and simple. Yes, Justine, this is I will share this when it's done, when I'm done with the video, and it will post to my page, so you can review it anytime. But in the meantime, understand this stuff, people, and realize that you've been conned straight from the start, right from the day you were born in a military venue called a hospital. So realize this stuff. The Star-Spangled Banner is bullshit. I'll go over this real quick here one more time for those that didn't catch it in the beginning. This is the Blue Jackets Manual of 1940. And right in here it tells you the flags of the principal maritime nations. And they have man-of-war flags and merchant flags side by side. And when you look at the American flag, you'll see they are identical, while every other country has different flags. The top one there is the U.S. flag, and you can see they're both identical, while everybody else's is completely noticeably different, so that you can cognize it immediately that there is a difference. And then one more time with the Army Songbook. Army Songbook. And this was published 1941. And it says, compiled by the Adjutant General's Office in collaboration with the Library of Congress and published by order of the Secretary of War. This book is the property of the United States government, and its contents may be used only within the military services. And then the first song we have is the Star Spangled Banner. So all you people that want to go to these sporting events and you have a problem with Kaepernick kneeling because he doesn't respect the flag, I don't think you should be respecting the flag. I don't think you should be respecting the military. They're conning you. All you people that want to sign up for the military and go off to war, you've been conned. You've been hornswaggled. You've been duped. You've been screwed. So understand this stuff, people. Again, the Social Security account. When you get a Social Security account, you are classified as a Medicare qualified government employee. So think about this stuff, and hopefully you guys will pass this video on. Please share this one. I hope this is one of those things that will help people understand the root of the problem. So think about it, and remember, people, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. God bless. Love you. Have a great day. Bye.